What's going on, everybody? Mic check 1 2. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. You cannot see me, but you can hear me. Let me know. You should be able to hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you're watching this live, let us know where you're joining in from. Take a second to share this live as well. Share this with someone. Let them know, hey, we're doing Photoshop today on YouTube. E is on live. Share this with someone. Let us know in the comment where you are joining in from today. All right. Also, take a second to join the Facebook group, Fire Up the Heat Press. If you're not a member yet, that's the group, tips and tricks to amplify your heat print business. Hang out with people doing this full time and as a hobby. Again, facebook.com/Fire Up the Heat Press. All right. Before we get started, also take a second to check out our website. All right. If you are doing sublimation and you're in need of some sublimation paper, GC Sublimation paper has just released about a couple weeks now. So just want you to make sure you get yourself a pack of those sample packs, or just go all in and get the 8.5 by 11, 11/17, 13 by 19. If you're already using GC Sub, shout out to you. Go ahead, smash this button one time for your boy. If you're ready to get started into this quick video, let me know. I'm trying to start the series here where we'll go through a bunch of videos, tutorials, and everything on Photoshop and design programs. Just happened that we're creeping up on football season, so I want to make sure we get some football things done, get some Photoshop templates done, and have those available for y'all. The image you see, the design you see on the screen right now, this is something that I did this morning. So we'll be going through another concept with just football. All right, so if you're interested in any of these designs here, you want the PSD file. That's the Photoshop edited version where you can go ahead and change the people around, change your different players, and all those different things there. Please leave a comment down below, and we'll make those available for you on the website. All right, so if you're excited, let's jump down into it. I want to see if the comments are working. Share this on Facebook as well. Let's get some of our Facebook family in here. I usually would be doing this on Facebook, but I wanted to switch things up a bit and do these lives off of YouTube. All right. So let's jump into it. And if you're following along, I will be in Photoshop today. This video will be up for you to rewatch and follow. But basically what I'm doing, this is not a full tutorial on Photoshop. I do have videos available for Photoshop as far as courses. If you're trying to learn the beginning aspect of Photoshop, how to remove images from the background, all those things, we will not be going over that today in this video. You can see all the different images that we will be using are here and other things. All right, so first thing I want to do, I want to create my document. So I'm going to come into File, New. I'm going to just create me a document here. File, New. Okay. And I want to do something. We're not going to do too much here. I'll probably just do an 8.5 by 11 design template or design here. Okay. So I'm going to leave my resolution on 300. Color mode, we're going to keep this on RGB. All right, and that's all we got to mess with here. If you go to advanced, none of those things are going to matter to you right now. So just hit create. All right, so now off the jump, this is what we got. Okay, this is our design canvas. It's our design canvas, our artboard, whatever. You might want to design on a different size paper. For me, it depends what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll do 13 by 19, 11/17, based on what format I'm going to print with, right? Or what sheet size I'm going to print if I'm doing sublimation. So what I'm going to do here now, I want to start building up my design. So I'm going to start with my background image. And my background image right now, we're going to use I want this stadium. So I'm going to take the stadium here, of which I've already brought in, I'm gonna drop it into our canvas that we created. So right here, I'm just gonna take this image here and drop it right in there. Click, drag, drop. So now we got our football field. Try to get it nice and centered. Not necessarily our football field, but we got our stadium here. Okay, so I'm gonna get my stadium in. If you can see this pink line, this is our guide. This just tells us that our image is nice and centered. Okay, so we'll put this one in first. And for next thing I want to do here, the concept that I have is I only want the field. So I just want like the grassy area here. So first thing I want to do, I want to get rid of the actual the crowd. I want to get rid of those. So to do that, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create me a layer mask on layer 1. Okay, so I'm over in my layers panel. If you don't see your layer panel, come over to Windows and Layers. Okay, and I'm working with a PC today. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, and also if you're finding value to this class today or this video, please take a second and smash that like button one time for your boy. Okay, let's keep going. So now my layer mask, I'm gonna come over here, and the layer mask symbol is right here next to the FX. This is Japanese flag looking symbol here. We're gonna hit that, and what that gives us now, if you look into our layers panel, I'm gonna pull my layer panel out a bit here. Put my layers panel right here so you can see it, because we're gonna work with this layers panel a lot in Photoshop. All right, so now I got my layer here. I got my layer mask. What I want to do now, I want to make sure my layer mask, my brush is black. Okay, so I'm going to come to my brush here, and underneath, all the way on the left side right here, I want to make sure our brush color is black, because we want to take away. If you're taking things away from an image using a layer mask, you want to make sure your brush is black. So I got my brush, and I want a general brush. I'm going to come up here now. I'm going to choose general brush. I'm going to choose a general soft brush. You can make it large. It's okay, because all we want to do now, I want to just mask off this stadium. We don't need it. Okay, so just like that, if you're following along, you should have the crowd is gone, and all we have right now is our grass. Okay, so we'll have our grass there. Next thing I want to do now, I want to bring in this image. I want to bring this one in next. And these images I just took off of Unsplash. These are all Unsplash images. And once you drop it in here, you can see it's on top of everything else. Just shuffle, reshuffle your layers over here. Bring this cloud on the bottom. So now it's something like this. Just move it where you want, where it makes sense for you. Okay, so we got something like that. Everybody good? We good? Okay, so now we got that. Okay, that's bam. Next thing I want to do now, I'm going to bring in my ball. So there's two balls here I want to play with. Pause. So let's grab this ball here. I'll bring this ball in. First thing I want to do with this ball, as soon as I drop it in, is create a smart object. So I'm going to come over to the layer. I'm going to convert it to a smart object. Again, right click on the layer, convert to smart object. Okay, so now I can go ahead, edit free transform, and I want to transform this ball a bit. Make it a bit bigger. Okay, so we got something like this for our ball. Take a second, say what's up to everybody. How is everyone doing? What's up, June? What's going on, King Prime? What's going on, Kenyata? DJ, my boo. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you guys are having an awesome time. If you're finding value right now, please drop a comment. If you got any questions, also drop your comment, drop your questions down below. If you're watching this on the replay, still drop your questions down below. I'll do my best to get to it. Again, if you're into doing sublimation, please check out our website for some sublimation paper. All right, GC sublimation paper is available. We do have sample packs. If you're not sure yet, you're like, okay, maybe these guys are new. We don't trust them just yet. Get yourself some sample packs. All right, get yourself the 8.5 by 11 sample pack. Get yourself some 11 by 17 sample pack and get started testing out this GC sub paper. One paper, all substrates, no ink left behind. You hear me? All right, so let's jump back on to the video. Make sure you share this with someone as well. Let's jump back in here. So the next thing I want to do here now is, which step should we take here? Let's go and let's do a thing here. Let's do a new layer. Okay, and what I want to do my new layer now, I want to bring in the brush. I want to do some shadows. So I want to put a shadow underneath this ball. And I want to make sure my color is a little dark here. Okay. And I'm going to hit that. All I did was took a brush, did something like that. Now I'm going to take this. I'm going to transform it. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow underneath my ball here. Bam. Something like that. Just the shadow there. And I want to do that again, another layer. Do the same thing, same color. This time I'll make it a bit darker. Okay, Control T, transform. Yep, just like that. Make this a bit thinner. All right, so we got our shadow underneath for there. Bring the shadow down a bit. And then there's one more thing I want to do. I'm going to do a new layer right on top of the ball, right? And what I want to do with this layer, I want to make a clipping mask. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab our brush again. We're going to do more shadow. But now I want my shadow actually on the bottom of the ball here. So I'll make my brush a bit smaller. Just want a little bit of, not so dark. We can turn this down a bit. It's a little too dark. It's a little dark on the bottom of the ball there, so it looks like it's actually sitting on something, and then we're going to turn the opacity down on it. It doesn't have to be so bright, right? Turn the opacity down a bit, something like that. Okay. Good, everybody good? Oh, you're driving? All right, if you're driving, be safe. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now, bam, bam, let's bring in our player. Let's bring in our player. File, place embedded. I'm going to find a player that we can use. No, let's go with this guy. Going to go with this guy. Okay, so I drop my player in here. Next thing I want to do, once I drop my player in here again, I'm going to create is convert it to a smart object. I like smart objects. Every time I bring a thing in here, convert it to a smart object. Okay, so let's bring our player all the way to the top of everything else. I don't know if I want to use this player here. I might have to find a different player. Let me try another player here. I've got options. We've got options. Okay. Let's try my guy here. I want to see which one. We've got options. Oh, we can't use this one. This one's got a watermark. Can't use that one. I didn't realize that image has a watermark. Let's try this one. Again, we'll convert it. Smart object. We'll resize it. I don't know yet. Let me see something. Let's put him behind here. We'll have to reposition some things here. Alright, so let's do this. Let's take all of these and shift everything down a bit. Shift all this down. Alright. So then we can put him in the back of the ball, because I can't seem to get it to work in the front of the ball where I wanted it actually. But let's see. We'll put that there. Or now let me try it. See if it makes. Nope. So let's put him behind the ball. Okay. Alright, so we got him there. We could probably bring in a few more players. So we can probably bring in a few more guys here. Let's do that one. Alright. we'll keep it like that for now. Let's keep it like that for now. And let's do, I like this image here, but I don't like the fact that it has a watermark. I can get rid of that watermark, but I don't think I want to. Let's go back. Let's snatch some images from this photo. Okay. Let's do some things first. Let's play with this ball a bit. I'm gonna add another layer right on top of the ball. But except now, I don't want this layer to be let's do this. Put a mask on the ball. Let's mask out some of these parts on the ball here for now. Put our mask back on black. Make sure you have dark black. Let's play with this ball a bit. Play with some brushes here, some special brushes. I'm gonna get out of my general brush. Come over here to my explosion brush. Let's see which one we want. Okay. It's either 4 or 5. We'll go with this one. Okay. So what I'm doing here, let's see. Let's take out some of this and see if we can do it this way. No, all right, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna put in a new layer, release clipping mask from this layer here, and we're going to let's change this. Let's go for this brush here. Let's change this color, brush color. Let's do this gray. All right. What I want is layer mask on here. I want to mask off some of this ball. That's what I want to do. I want to mask off some of this ball. Let's put it back on black. If you need to rotate, let's rotate this brush a bit. A little bit more rotation here. Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. Let's rotate it a bit more for the other side. Okay, let's blend this ball out a bit. Let's grab another brush here. Okay, let's see. So the question is, what does the mask do? So what a layer mask does, the mask allow you to mask off a certain part of the image without deconstructing the image. Okay, so if I got this ball right here, right? So you can see I already cut out a lot of the ball. You can see all these things I'm doing right now. It's me adding, let me get more. So right now I'm on my mask. I'm taking parts of this ball away from our image, right? So therefore what that allows me to do now, let's say if I want my actual image back, all I have to do is disable this layer mask and my image comes back. So instead of using the actual erase tool, I'm using the mask tool. So now if I want to put my mask back, I can just enable layer mask. That's the whole point of using layer mask. Okay. So we got that. There any questions? Any other questions? Okay, no other questions? All right. I hope that helped out. So now, the next part here is, I feel like I still want to do some stuff to my player. I'm actually not even sure if I want to use this player because his colors are so darn bright. But let's play with the ball a bit more. I'm gonna do another layer on top of my ball. Okay, grab my brush again. This time I'm going to grab a brush. And I'm gonna grab my explosion brush. Let's try explosion 4. Okay, and now what I want to do with this brush, I'll make this brush color similar to what we got here already on the ball. Okay, now let's add some particles, some sparkles off this ball. Let's rotate this a bit. Get some of this dark blue. All right. Next thing I want to do here, what y'all think so far? Huh? What y'all think? What y'all think? Give me some feedback. Says, so do I put a layer mask under the layer of... So you put the layer mask. So here's the thing, how to do a layer mask, okay? So whatever layer, so let's say this ball, I'm gonna bring in another, whatever layer, right? So let's say right now I got my layer here of my player. I'm gonna go to my player's layer. Okay, so there's my player's layer here. If I wanted to mask off a part of this layer, right while I'm on the player's layer, I'm gonna come down here and hit my layer mask symbol. So add my mask symbol. That would be the symbol that looks like a Japanese flag. I'm gonna hit that. So once I hit that, you can see again, here goes my layer with my player. Now, instead of me having just the one thumbnail that has my player, it has two thumbnails now. The second thumbnail after the chain lock, that's my mask. So now what's important with the mask, anything that I want to mask off, I have to make sure I'm actually selected on the mask portion here. Okay, so if you're going to add a layer mask to something, the mask has to be on the exact layer. I hope that makes sense. All right, so now if I wanted to mask off a part of my player here, I would just go ahead and start masking it off. You know, not with this brush, of course, but if you had a brush that would mask off good, so right there, then I'll be able to mask that off. All right, but we don't want to use that brush. But let's go ahead and show you actually in real life. So if I come back over here to a soft brush and mask off something now, you can see I mask off my player because I'm on that player's layer with my layer mask. So I'm gonna hit Control Z a few times here. One more time. I'm actually gonna just disable this layer mask just in case. And now we got something like this. But here's what the next thing I want to do, right? Next thing I want to do here is work with this ball a little bit. My ball, or even here. Let's see. So on my grass layer here, I want to work on something. I'm going to play with the color a little bit here. So I'm come to this layer that has my grass. I'm going to come up here to filter. We're going to go to camera raw filter. I want to play with the colors a little bit. All right, so this is how I would tweak to bring my picture out a little bit. I'm going to bring up the clarity. Bring the clarity all the way up. All right, we're going to also bring down the highlights. Bring down the highlights a bit. Bring up the shadows a little bit. Okay, let's add some texture on here. It may not seem like you're seeing anything happening right now, but because you're not. You don't see anything happening now, but once I go back into the software, you'll be able to see that. Not into the software, but back into Photoshop here. And the next thing I want to do, go down to color mixer here, saturation. Let's bring our oranges down a bit. Let's bring down our reds, bring down a little bit of everything. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK now. You can see my grass is gonna pop a little bit more. We'll do the same thing with the ball. I'm going to filter. I'm going to camera raw filter, and we'll do the same thing here with the ball. I'm going to come to my basic tab first. I'm going to bring in the clarity on this ball. Okay, so I bring up my clarity a bit. I'm gonna bring in a little bit of texture here. Make that ball a little bit more vintage like it is. We'll bring down our highlights. We'll bring up that shadow. Ooh. Bring up the shadow. Bring down the shadows actually. Bring up the highlights a bit. Here we go. We added some texture. We can do a little bit of dehaze. Bring in some dehaze. Let's go back to detail. Let's bring in some noise reduction. Right now, I'm just playing with the image, you know, just trying to get a different look. My ball, you can see right there now, my ball is a whole different tune. See, do I have an affiliate link for Photoshop? I do not have an affiliate link for Photoshop. Said, what's my Cash App? It's a good question. You can, because this is a live, I appreciate the donations, but because this is a live, you can do the donation through YouTube right here with the super chat. But yeah, because if you want to Cash App something, here goes my Cash App right there, Garment Creations. But it's best to support if you go to the website and purchase something. GC Sublimation paper is on the website, and you can go ahead and support that way as well. All right, it's even better. You can support by just smashing the like button one time on this image, on this video, and we'll be good. All right, let's jump back in here. So now let's do the same thing to our player. We need our player to be a little bit darker. Gonna play it a bit darker here first, and then we'll do some other things. So go to our player layer. We're gonna come back up here to camera raw filter. I'm gonna come back up here. You'll see this effect more on the player. So let's go to our basic tab. I'll always increase my clarity. Okay, I want my picture to be nice and clear. I'm going to increase my shadows, bring down my highlights. If we bring down the highlights, it makes it a bit darker, because I want it to be a little dark and moody on this one here. And the shadows right about there. And turn the exposure down a bit. It's a little too bright. Some dehaze, add a bit of texture on it. You know, you dig. And then let's go ahead and bring in some noise reduction for the uniform there, some color reduction there. Let's do that. Let's jump back over here into color mix. Jump into the tab, bring down the oranges a little bit on the skin tone. Could bring down our yellows a bit. Aqua, everything turned down. All right. Said okay. You can see just like that. Now our image is a bit toned, like it's toned down a bit. So how much is Photoshop? Photoshop is a subscription that you will have to reach out and see which one fits your budget. But they got like a $29. Some folks pay $9 if you got a student budget, a student ID. There's, yeah, right now I pay $56 a month. Been paying that forever. So you got to go onto adobe.com. Check out one that works for you. But if you're trying to learn this basic form of Photoshop, I do have on the website again, garmentcreations.com. You can get the Photoshop beginners course and learn step by step on how to do something like this. Okay, so what you guys feel so far? So basically what's happening here, I'm going to be creating this as a template. All right, so you will be able to change out the player on this design and be able to make it say anything that you want it to say, you know. So that's the key. Now let's do a few more things here. Let's add a little bit more sparkle here. go back here. Let's do this. Let me see. Let me see if I can find. No, it's not, actually not on this computer. I don't think it's on this computer. Yeah, it's not on this computer. Can't do that one. All right, let's bring in another brush. I need a little bit more of the exposure. All right, so I'm liking what this is. I like what it's looking like so far. I'm gonna copy the color from right here, because now for my next exposure brush, okay, so next one now, let's bring in some clouds. The brush wasn't good. Let's find a different one. We have to rotate that brush a bit. It needs to be rotated. Just adding a little more clouds to it. Okay, let's add another new layer. Everything I'm doing is on new layers. That's one thing you guys gotta think about. You always want to do things on layers, so you're able to turn it off if you want to, and not having to start all the way over. Trying to find a good angle for this brush here. Turn the opacity down a bit on this one. think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have this as a 1-player, and then we're also gonna add a second version that's gonna have a 2-player. I think that's what we're gonna do. I still feel like my image itself, the player, is too bright, so we'll have to play with that. So what I'm adding now, I'm gonna add a color LUT. Okay, so all right, so what I just did to change the color like that, I have a LUT, a color LUT that's special, like designed already. So I just threw that LUT right on top of it, right? So I can turn the LUTs off or turn the LUTs back on. Okay, so now that I got this color LUT in here, I can see like I might need to move some of these layers. Okay, so I think I like this. I like the color LUT now because it adds a little bit more to our colors here. Let's work on our shadow a bit. Yep. So that's that. Now let me save this. We're not done yet, but I want to save this so I can have in case something happened, right? So my first I'm going to file save. I want to save this as I'm going to save this onto my, we're going to call this Photoshop PSD template 2. Just to have that for now. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. Now let's add some text. Okay, so we got our foreground, got our background. Let's add some text here. So for text now, let's go back into right there, add a new text layer there. Let's just add sorry for the banging in the background. It seemed like apparently there's some construction going on next door. Trying to find a text or font. Sometimes could be some of the hardest parts of designing is finding your font. Okay, so I got my text. I just wanted to say rise up for now. And then I'm gonna add an effect on my text here. Just go to effects at the bottom, blending options. Let's see. I have this pack here from Fuller Mo. I don't even know how to say his name, but Fuller Mo. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's pretend this is a player, and this player name is Miller. My man name is Miller, all right? So my player name is Miller. Okay, Miller has a first name, of course. So Miller's first name. Drop. What is Miller's first name? Drop some names down below for me. Let's see. What's Miller's first name? I'm thinking of Ben Miller. How about that? That's my guy's name, Ben Miller. Ben Miller is the name. What you think? Ben Miller. Ben Miller is the name. Shout out to Ben Miller. Ben Miller made the shout out to Ben Miller for making the tutorial today. We appreciate you, Ben Miller. So this is Ben Miller, and Ben Miller play for, who does Ben Miller play for? I don't know. Ben Miller plays for somebody, but Ben is number 14. Ben Miller here, and Ben Miller plays for St. Miller. St. Miller High School. St. Miller High School football. Ben Miller plays for St. Miller High School. How about that? Ben Miller, you're just a guy, Ben Miller. Ben Miller is the lead quarterback. Shout out to Ben Miller. St. Miller High School football. Ben Miller. So here's your template, guys. This is a template that will be available, and the actual SPD file, I'm thinking about making that available as well. How many people want this template to be available for you? So I'm over here live on YouTube right now. Go check out the YouTube channel. I'm live right now. We just worked out on this design right here. Shout out to my Instagram folks. So there you go. Step-by-step videos on YouTube. Join us live. Let's go. Yep, sorry y'all, I had to jump in and do my Instagram post. So make sure you are following me on IG right there, Garment Creations. Okay. But I think I'm pretty much done here. Like, besides some finishing touches that I may add to this here, all in all, I think we're pretty solid with this design. So again, if you found value to this video, please smash the like button for me one time. And if you are not part of the Facebook group, I would appreciate it if you can join the group there. It's called Fire Up the Heat Press. So Fire Up the Heat Press on Facebook. Okay, but this here is our finished design, y'all. Okay, until next time, I appreciate y'all for watching. Please hit up the website, grab some paper, and smash the like button. Peace.